Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Juice Podcast on the Betting Pros Network. I'm your host, Sean, Stacking the Money Green. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sean T. Green. And as always, the Daily Juice is being brought to you by BetMGM. Use our promo code JUICE. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on first deposit. All right, fun day in the NFL. My Eagles locked up the number one seed overall. That felt pretty good. Didn't look amazing against the Giants, but it's kind of an ugly game. Hurts, I think, still not quite 100%. They're resting their starters. Super excited for the NFL playoffs. Super wild card weekend. I mean, God bless the NFL for figuring out a way to turn the entire weekend into 6 NFL games. I'm going to load up. I'm going to start taking some, like liquid IVs, some electrolytes, just because it's going to be madness this weekend. 6 playoff games. I'm so excited. And we got picks for the national championship, college football tonight. It's just a great time to be a football fan. All right. Well, had some crazy moments. So of course, Saturday had the 2 touchdown sweat with Chig, our boy Chig, slipped through his hands / like kind of a good play on the defender. As far as the picks I gave out on the show, the 2 losers were the Packers -4.5, and then the DGen stuff with Reggie Gilliam. Obviously in hindsight, when you see that Bills kick return for a touchdown to Naheem Hines, I was shaking my head. I'm like, oh, it's such a good angle. As a narrative guy, I would have been all over that. Just didn't pull the trigger on it. Didn't really cross my mind. I was just so locked in on Reggie Gilliam getting a touchdown. Didn't happen. But Packers -4.5. That maybe they had a chance to cover early, and then it just kind of fell apart late. And what I was scared about is kind of what happened. The Lions got eliminated, and they played fast and loose and ended up getting the outright win. So congrats to the Lions there. But my real frustration, again, if you're in the Discord or follow me on Twitter, tweeted out my, few handful of first touchdown bets. I had Jameson Williams and I had Khalif Raymond. Jameson Williams has an awesome play, goes for the first touchdown, or does he? It's called back on the holding penalty. It's like, all right, I see it. It's kind of a holding penalty, but I think, okay, first touchdown gods, I know you're listening. You're going to give that one back to me, aren't you? And then I see Jared Goff go back, hurls up a bomb. Oh my God, it's the number 11, Khalif Raymond. He catches it. He falls into the end zone. Oh wait, he's down? What? No big deal. They're going to challenge us, right? No challenge. They just handed off to Jamal Williams, which I guess I don't blame them. The guy is automatic, set the rushing touchdown record for the Lions. But come on. And everyone, I was freaking out on Twitter. I challenged Dan Campbell to the Oklahoma drill for being soft and not challenging. And people kept sending me screenshots, and it's like they're either from behind or the end zone view. Let me ask you this. Why do we put a camera in the pylon if we're not going to show the pylon shot? Show me the pylon. Show me when the ball crossed the plane. Oh, I was losing my mind. Also lost on Packers -4.5. Did get a couple winners in here. Rams +6. They had a chance to win that game outright. Lost in OT as they and Seahawks are going to the playoffs. I don't know. Geno still looks kind of a little shaky there. I don't know how he's going to do against this 49ers defense, but Rams got the cover. Steelers also got the win, got the cover. I mean, as an impartial observer, I would have much rather seen the Steelers in the playoffs with some sweet momentum. Our boy Mike Tomlin got another winning season, never losing season for the Steelers or Mike Tomlin. I just want to see, I'd much rather see this Steelers team in the playoffs than the Dolphins, right? I mean, we'll see. Maybe Tua gets back, doesn't look great. Maybe they at least get Bridgewater. I don't know. They're just not looking great there for the Dolphins in the playoffs. But hey, we'll have plenty of playoff picks this week, and of course props. First touchdowns, we got you covered. Let's head over to the College Football National Championship, Georgia versus TCU, and for me, it's a pretty easy call to go with TCU and the Horned Frogs. I mean, I just can't go against Max Duggan at this point. I'm regretted fading him at all during during the playoffs, during his run. I think there's a lot to break down here. First off, Georgia's defense may not be as good as we once thought. I mean, again, they let up 41 points to Ohio State, and I get it, Ohio State is a pretty good offense, but still, it's a lot of points. And, they really showed a bunch of weaknesses and just the inability to slow the game down at all. And, the total's set at 63 here, so I think they're telling you, hey, we expect this game to be a shootout. We expect there to be a ton of scoring in this game. And if there's a bunch of scoring in this game, for me, why not take the team that's getting 13.5 points? I also like the angle of Sonny Dykes. He was learned the air raid from Mike Leach. He's mentioned how he's kind of playing for Mike Leach and to honor him. And Max Duggan, just like we've all seen the dog X-ray shirts with the dog where the heart is, like those memes, like that to me is Max Duggan. And TCU, I know Georgia, obviously won the national championship last year. They're super experienced, but TCU's coming in with a ton of experience as well. They have 31 seniors on that roster, so I know they're kind of seen like a Cinderella story, and with good reason. I mean, some places had them 500 to 1, 1,000 to 1 to win the national championship. Narrative-wise, I just want to be on that side. Like, I just can't take the favorite here in this spot. I don't know if they can pull out the outright win, but man, I'm just hoping this is a game. I think it's going to be a game. 14 points is a lot in a game where I don't see either team getting a ton of stops. Also, I think one key injury is the Georgia tight end, Darnell Washington. He's questionable. He's dealing with an ankle injury. So, Georgia, those two dynamic tight ends, that 12 personnel they run, is key to kind of them racking it up and getting a ton of points. I just think at the end of the day, even if TCU's down 20, give me Max Duggan going in and getting that backdoor. So give me TCU, 4-2 units, plus 13.5 over on FanDuel. Hang around. Maybe you can find a 14. For some props I like, first up, Jared Wiley, anytime touchdown, plus 650 over on FanDuel. If you don't know him, he's the TCU tight end. He has a massive frame, 6'7", former quarterback. Again, as a tight end specialist, always love some tight end anytime touchdown. Even if you're just watching the game casually, he's gonna be hard to miss. He's 6'7". They like using him near the goal line. He has 4 touchdowns this season. And again, like for me, if there's 63 points projected in the game, at least according to the over-under, then you would expect there's some value here in some of these longer shot touchdowns, or at least just there's going to be more opportunities to hit anytime touchdowns. So that being said, and I think, you get a couple extra days for to prepare for the game. And I think you get a little creative, and that's when you see stuff like Jared Wiley getting a touchdown. Anytime touchdown plus 650 to me feels like a really fun price. And I think if you're Georgia, there's other guys you're going to be keying on, the receivers, and maybe even dug in on some of the read option, designed run stuff near the goal line. So I think Jared Wiley will have some opportunities there. And he's actually had some bigger games when he's kind of playing from behind, which I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case for TCU. Again, I like them catching the 13.5. Speaking of Max Duggan, we are going to get down on the Max Duggan rushing ladder over on FanDuel. So 1 unit on each one of these bets. Over 30.5 at minus 114, over 40 yards at plus 164, and then over 50 yards at plus 270. I think this is less about like the matchup being great in particular, but just Max Duggan, back-to-back games, 15 carries. So if you're giving him 15 carries, I think he can get to 50 yards. And I don't see why there isn't a ton of opportunities for Max Duggan to run. Again, looking to the total at 63, I just don't see a ton of defense. I see a ton of back and forth. I mean, it's going to just come down to who can get 3, maybe 4 stops defensively is going to win the game and at least get the cover. And again, if they're down a bunch and Georgia's sitting back in a zone, that creates a ton of easy opportunities, easy scrambling opportunities for Max Duggan. And I think Georgia's going to bring some pressure, and he's just going to have to scramble in addition to the design run stuff. So Over 30.5, over 40, over 50 rushing yards for Max Duggan, plus 270, plus 164, then minus 114. Over on FanDuel, 1 unit sprinkle on all those. Jared Wiley, anytime touchdown, plus 650 for a unit. And then, of course, TCU, Horned Frogs, and they got the Hypno Toad. Are you really going to want to fade the Hypno Toad? I don't want to fade the Hypno Toad. Give me TCU, plus 13.5 for 2 units. All right, that'll do it for the show. As always, betmgm.com, promo code JUICE. Get that risk-free bet up to $1,000. Follow us on TikTok at Betting Pros. Follow me on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Check out my other podcast, the Sports Gambling Podcast. And you know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, don't forget to let it ride.